Now, the entrance of politics to the universal jurisdiction process may be found in the many actions brought by NGOs that are supported financially by special interest groups or even states for the benefit of their own agendas. I'm not saying that all the NGOs are like this. NGOs are doing fantastic work. But there is a big group of NGOs, especially that are founded by Palestinians, if we're talking in the case of Israel, that they have their own agenda. In this way, the states offering universal jurisdiction are utilized in opposition to the goals for which they adopted universal jurisdiction laws. We should also consider the delicate balance between state and their political relationships. It is interesting to note how some African nations view universal jurisdiction. Recently, and I'm not going into the case that Professor Gordon wrote, what we have to say, I think that we didn't say that this lady was on a mission from Rwanda, and she was arrested in Germany, by the way, in order to extradite her to France. And Rwanda took as I remember, their ambassador from Germany at that time. And this is an example of why some African nations refer to universal jurisdiction as Western judicial imperialism. That's what was written right now. Because they do not see cases brought by the Western nations against another Western nation. Could you envision a European state bringing action against US general and politicians for war crimes in Iraq? Well, Belgium considered it, but was deterred by the US threat to remove the NATO headquarters from Brussels. And here it ended. And it ended with the Sharon too. It was together. Universal jurisdiction is applied and also the ICC when a country does not, as I said it before, or cannot act to prosecute. To my regret, as Israeli army officers are subject to universal jurisdiction in different countries, not only in London or in England, one must question whether Israel is included in the category of states that would not or cannot take action against subject crimes. The answer, in my view, is clear. Israel is a democracy with a well-developed judicial system, as the following statistic prove, and I will give you now a bit of statistic, but before it I would like to say that the military judicial system is separate from the civilian courts with the ability to appeal decisions handed down in the lower courts. The Israeli Supreme Court, sitting in the High Court of Justice, receives complaints against the military courts and against the discretion of the military prosecution. It just happened a week ago. From the army, before I came here, it was interesting for me to know how many investigation and conviction happened in Israel, and I asked the military prosecution, who still remembers me from my former job, and he gave it to me. And I just would like to show you a very interesting data. Now, the second intifada in Israel was in 2000. So between 2000 and 2007, there were 272 investigations by the military police for illegal firing of weapons, 31 indictments, and 17 convictions follows. For property damage, 330 investigations, 36 indictments, 36 convictions. For violence, 475 investigations, 37 indictments, 34 convictions. For crimes in the Palestinian areas, 128 investigations, 20 indictments, 18 convictions. One must ask, when you hear such big numbers and then you come to conviction or to indictment and they are like shrink or shrunk, not all of them are coming to the end of the day as convictions. But you have to understand that many times complaints are being submitted out of revenge or something like this. So we really have to find out exactly what was happening there. And this is the end. I'm not saying that everything is kosher, everything is really great. There are mistakes. Someone who doesn't work, will be very happy if we wouldn't have this very complicated situation. But the idea is that the soldier should know that if he's doing something wrong, and we know about it, and you know that today people have a cellular phone, and they take pictures, which I think that are very good. because we get the knowledge about those things. This is not the target of the Israeli army. The Israeli army was always, I was an officer in the army many years ago, we were always educated that we are a defense army and we are acting according to values. And the day that we won't act according to values, we are going to lose the war.